Hello everybody and welcome back. Got a nice easy sing for you today. Very well known song, done it lots of times, although it's one of those ones with a little introductory section which is not quite as familiar as the main tune. But before that, a warm up. And you might have had, like me, sort of during lockdown, rather sort of things that used to be rather sort of mundane and sort of rather routine, can take on bizarre sense of excitement because you're actually allowed to go and do them. And I had yesterday morning, I had a tip trip. So I'd booked one of those, I mean, they're rare as hen's teeth. You can book a visit to your local tip and you're allowed one every 25 days, and I had to sit in a queue outside and be security checked on the way in and briefed about how it was going to work and what could and couldn't happen, etc, etc. It was terribly exciting, by the way. It's very, very exciting to go to the tip. But I came up with a little tongue twister while I was doing it, which is tip, trip, top, tip. So it's tip, trip, top, tip. But we're going to split it into two little bits. And so the first bit is just to do tip, trip, and it's all about hard consonants. Tip, trip. So hard T's, hard P's. Tip, trip, just going down the scale. Ready? Tip, trip, 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 tip, trip. And it's really, really tricky. Lots and lots of enunciation. I think I almost tripped over a trip on it. So tip, trip, trip. Ready one more time? Tip, trip, tip, trip, tip, trip, tip, trip, tip, trip, tip. And so when you have your tip trip, I have a top tip for a tip trip. And my top tip is when they send you your email or text message to let you know what your booking reference is. Because even though there's somebody there with a clipboard and they ask you for all the details. And I did say to him, I said, well, you know, because I gave you my registration number. And he said, oh yes, I know, but I need to know that you know. Which I thought was rather interesting. My top tip is to have the email to hand, or the text message or whatever it is, or the reference number, easy to hand, so you're not sitting there while everyone gets incredibly frustrated with you in the queue behind you for not being able to find it. So it's tip, trip, top, tip. And it's really, really tricky, this one. I've got no guarantee when we do it in a minute I'll be able to get it right. So it's tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip. And it's lots of going on. It's quite a lot of sort of that's the movement. And I know I often tell you not to have sort of tension there, not to have the bones showing, but tip, trip, top, tip, trip. Actually, it's quite tense under there, and lots of tip, trip, top, tip. You know, sort of almost hardly any vowel. Don't think tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip. So let's try that. Just going to go down scale once, because I think once is about the maximum I can get it right. And even then, don't listen too carefully. So tip, trip, top, tip. Ready? Tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip. Trip, top, tip, 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 trip, top, tip. Oh, I was quite pleased with myself. I think there was one that went slightly wrong. So let's just do one more, just slightly quicker. Tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip. But as it gets quicker, need a bit more movement. Don't try to do trip, trip, top, tip as it gets quicker. So rather than the slight clenching there, really relax now. Tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip, trip, top, tip. Ready to do that? Tip, trip, top, 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 tip. So some would say, as I said, easy song. You can do On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady. So we know the main bit, the I have often walked down this street with. So we know that bit. Everyone knows that bit really well. But it's the little sort of introductory paragraph, which is lovely. So you get a bit of a introductory bit, and then it goes when she mentioned how her aunt bit off the spoon, and then she completely done me in. And it's Freddie, isn't it? Freddie is the character who sings it. So he's very posh, very upper class, and it's lovely. They've got this bit about she completely done me in. So you have to do it. Don't go done me in. You have to keep it in character, in the accent. When she mentioned how her aunt bit off the spoon, she completely done me in. And then and my heart went on a journey to the moon. And then it goes really low. When she told me about her father and the gin. So let's do those 4 lines from When She Mentioned. Go. When she mentioned how her aunt bit off the spoon, she completely done me in, and my heart went on a journey to the moon, when she told about her father and the gin. And And then, just in the British version, this bit, because the American censors, even though the word is omitted at the end of it, and you'll see the word I mean when we get there, the American censors didn't even like the fact that people would work out what the rhyme was. So the American word's different, but this is the English version. And I never saw a more enchanting farce. And you get, than the moment when she shouted, move your blooming. And at that point, and obviously you've worked out what the rhyme is, there's a little bit, the flower seller has to emerge from the enter stage left or whatever it says in the libretto. And he has to sort of time it to perfection. So he rises in front of him and goes, flowers, mister. So, and I never saw a more enchanting farce than the moment when she shouted, move your blooming. Obviously, in the privacy of your own home, if you want to put it in, and I never saw a more enchanting farce than the moment when she shouted, move your blooming. You know, you're very welcome. And then we just get to the main tune. I have often walked down this street before. And it's one of these songs, you know, you don't chop it up. Not I have often walked, but it sort of lilt. I have often walked down this street before. Oh, you know, all dreamy, carrying the flowers. But the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. And then it's the big jumps. All at once am I. And the key to it is not I, all at once am I, but all at once am I. So I, turns to an A. I, several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. And it's getting that note. You want it to be that one, but that's an unexpected one. Knowing I'm on the street where you live. Then the same tune. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? And you know how I like a L, yeah, underside of the tongue. Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? And then a big jump. Does enchantment paw? How to really stretch your face into an odd shape. Does enchantment paw? And don't think pour, don't put a pour. Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And then we get the middle section. And the danger words, we've got O's and no's. And it's usually then, whenever we do this, so don't go, and oh, not oh, don't do that, you know, but, and oh, the powering. So lose the W sound completely. And oh, the power, so what are that? Making up the words. And oh, the towering feeling, just to know somehow you are near. And enjoy the long notes, particularly when you get to near. It's a lovely arch shape. And oh, the towering feeling, just to know somehow you are near. And then here, please don't destroy the word, sense of the words by taking an ugly breath. So often you hear people go, the powering. So I mean, you know, they take a breath even in the middle of the word. The powering feeling at any second you may suddenly appear. And you'll notice whenever it jumps down, I'm putting a slide, and you can do that. You know, you can do, gents particularly, I know lots of you love a good crooning song. The overpowering feeling, that any second you may suddenly appear. And it's back to the first tune. People stop and stare, they don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. Let the time go by. And then next note is the big moment. Let the time go by. I won't And so, huge Porter. It's one of the joys. When I was much younger, one of the things I did to earn money was conducting pit bands and things for shows. And often you'd get a singer who was a bit of a prima donna and, you know, had wound everyone up during rehearsals. And these sort of moments were a wonderful opportunity for revenge, because they'd reach that moment, they'd be looking down in the pit, and you've got the orchestra held on the top note. And you can see them beginning to struggle, and you can see them looking at you, and they're trying to sort of maintain the pose for the audience of I'm completely in charge. They're trying to look at you with absolute daggers at the same time. So I'm going to milk it. So let the time go by. I won't care if I can be here on the street where you live. So really enjoyed that last one. You know, big long net then, not live, don't live with a big long vowel net. Lear, think lear. Live. And then quite a hard little percussive. It's one of those, you know, Bugs Bunny impression. Top teeth over bottom lip. Live. So percussive then. So all the way through from beginning, you know, you can have a swing around the house. I have often walked. So that's the mood. So all the way from beginning with the little introductory bit. When she mentioned how her aunt bit off the spoon, she completely done me in, and my heart went on a journey to the moon. When she told about her father and the gin, and I never saw a more enchanting farce than the moment when she shouted, "Move your blooming." I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And oh, the towering feeling, just to know somehow you are near. The towering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. People stop and stare, they don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. Let the time go by. I won't care if I can be here on the street where you live. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's song. As ever, please do send me any comments or suggestions. Take care. See you soon.